When we talk about finding the volume of anything, we're talking about its capacity. And if we are looking at the cylinder, any cylinder is really just two circles, one circle for the top here, one circle for the bottom, and a rectangle that's curved around. And to find the volume of the cylinder, we're multiplying pi times the radius squared times the height. And I put these in two separate colors because if you think back to when we did area of a circle, this is the area of a circle, pi times the radius squared. So another way to look at volume of a cylinder is the area of the base, or capital B, times the height. So let's say that I'm given a radius of 5 inches and a height of 8 inches. So the volume is equal to pi times 5 inches squared times 8 inches. And let me write that out so I can show you what the units of this will be. So the volume is 3.14, 3 and 14 hundredths, that's how we approximate pi, times 5 inches, times 5 inches, times 8 inches. And so we have inches times inches times inches. And so when we're done, our units will be inches cubed or cubic inches. And so let's simplify what I have here. So the volume is equal to 3 and 14 hundredths times 5 times 5 is 25, and then 25 times 8 is 200. So I'm left with 3 and 14 hundredths times 200 inches cubed. Let me erase here. 200 inches cubed. And if I simplify that, I'm left with 628 inches cubed, and that's the capacity of this cylinder. Just remember your difference between radius and diameter. So if I was given a diameter of 10 inches, I would have had to divide that by 2, cut it in half, to find a radius of 5 inches to then put into that equation. And let's look at an example where we're given the volume and one other piece. So in this case, we're given the volume and the height, and we want to know what is the radius. And so let's fill in the information that we know in our equation. So the volume was 169.56 and 56 hundredths cubic centimeters. And that's equal to pi times the radius squared times the height, which was 6 centimeters. And I'm just going to go ahead and replace this pi right now with 3 and 14 hundredths. And let's simplify what we know. So we still have 169 and 56 hundredths centimeters cubed. And 3 and 14 hundredths times 6 is 18 and 84 hundredths centimeters. And that's times the radius squared, which is what we're looking for. And now let's go ahead and solve this equation. So to get r by itself, to isolate the variable, the opposite of times 18 and 84 hundredths is divided by 18 and 84 hundredths. And if I do that on the right, I also have to do that on the left. And let me put in centimeters, centimeters. We can simplify that by canceling those out. That's 1, and 1 times radius squared is just radius squared. And if I divide on the left side, I get 9 centimeters squared is equal to the radius squared. Now, just like with area of a circle, I'm not looking for radius squared, I'm just looking for the radius. And so to undo, or to find the opposite of that squared, I'm going to find the square root, and if I do that on the right, I have to do that on the left to keep my equation balanced. And so I'm left with the square root of 9 is 3 centimeters is equal to our radius. Now, if I wanted to know the diameter, I would just multiply that by 2. So for this circle, if the radius is 3 centimeters, then 3 centimeters times 2 would give me 6 centimeters as the diameter.